Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About Lego. It's me, your host, Jason, with the Brick Stuff, as well as Andrew in the house here. And tonight we're super excited to talk about Lego trains.
Indeed.
Yeah, so welcome on everybody who's showing up tonight. I know there's a lot of love for Lego trains, so I'm really excited to just start talking about them, man.
Yeah, I agree. Steven, hello. Lady Bricks, hello.
Welcome.
Yeah, no go. Yeah, no go. Hello.
I'll go.
How are you? How are you this evening?
We're all learning still.
Yeah, so just here to note right off rip, this is a new mic, so if we hear any echo or anything like that in the background, just give me a comment or whatever. We try to dial it in the best we could beforehand. So jumping into it, Jason, do you want to give us a list of little facts?
Yeah, so I just have a couple facts that I gathered up on Lego trains as a general whole. We also are going to acknowledge real quick that there's what you said, how many sets? Over 200?
207 sets in the train series.
So clearly we're not going to be even getting close to talking about all of those. And we're not even really going to be talking too much about the early stuff because it's like kind of like the classic castle, blocky, kind of no electrical parts, just pushing around, stuff like that. So we're going to kind of move into the area that we think is kind of the golden age. But just for some interesting facts that I found about Lego trains, the first Lego train was in 1965, which is quite a ways back.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about. So we're not really going to get into too much of those older trains. And then coming out,
those trains were like 40 pieces, super blocky.
Yeah, I mean, they're fun to look at, kind of see where the roots came from, obviously. Yeah. That's always interesting to look back. They kind of feel like prototypes a little bit, like, oh, yeah, like they had the right idea, kind of, but they didn't quite refine it till later. Yeah, and up until 66, or through 1966 and to 79, that era was known as the blue era because the tracks were actually blue. And so that's a kind of a fun little fact as well. Those old trains that ran on the blue tracks, I think with white railroad ties or with pieces between them. I can't remember what they're called. But and then after that time era, we have what's known as the gray era, and that's because they changed the tracks out. You can actually see them here. They have the gray, the dark gray in between them with the actual metal on the tracks. And what's interesting is actual like model train collectors consider this time frame from the 80s to 90s as the best time frame to collect and build Lego trains because of all the automation that was introduced and all of the insane amounts of accessories and things that were available during that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, those were kind of the facts that I dug up. And then we'll get into a little bit later, I think, kind of the diminishing of trains going into the 2000s, just like everything else in Lego, basically. We can talk about that a little later on. So
okay, so I have a few pointers here too. Jason, if you could pull up that transformer and speed regulator.
Yeah, so this guy right here.
The infamous speed regulator that he's holding there, originally released in 1991. I didn't show a picture of it in our build here for the video, but everyone knows this device. Even if you didn't own a train, you saw it because it was in every catalog for a long time afterwards.
Yeah.
Also, some fun facts. Between 1966 and 2007, we had 4.5 volt, 9 volt, and 12 volt track systems and engine, motor units. Double-digit count sets released. 1966 there was 12. 69 there was 25. 1980 there was 28. 91 there was 12. 2001 was 16 and 2002 was 10. These are double-digit set releases on those years. So those are the years that I had dug into because they were the most relevant as far as the bulk of the set releases.
Yeah.
We have a few comments here, Jason. Everybody's saying hello. Hello, everyone.
Good to see you guys.
See, 9-fold is still the best. Yeah.
Right. Well,
the 9-volt was killer.
Yeah, I'm with in there.
9-volt is better design. 12-volt is better model for trains.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. From what I understood, the 12-volt they would put in the higher speed trains. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I didn't dig into the trains too much when I was a kid. I only had a few.
Right. Yeah. Well, and when did the 12-volt come out?
Steve says he's got 9 of those speed regulators.
Nice. Of course.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I think I have one. Yeah, I think I just have one here. So I thought I might have another one.
Well, I have 0.
Well, there you go. So
the speed regulator really doesn't work for my Knights.
Yeah, they just don't do much for them. There.
They don't.
Well,
and
it's tricky. These nowadays are a little trickier to use because of the connections. Are those the little brick with wires sticking out of them? A lot of them got corrupted over time, and they peel apart, and then a lot of them they break. The wire and connection breaks. Pretty.
Ooh, I wonder if you'd be able to fix that if you had like some kind of basic.
Yes,
electrical.
You can like cut it back and rewire it, but like I haven't tried. I've just bought more online.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would do. That's what I would have done for sure.
But yeah, some of them are beyond repair because the coating actually crumbled off if they're in a bad box or something. But
yeah, Steve says he went on a buying spree when Lego announced the discontinuation of the 9-volt.
Great call.
Yeah, it was a good call.
Yeah, people need.
If I'd have known they weren't ever going to make a, like a metro rail again, like for the shuttle rail, I would have probably done the same thing at that time.
Yeah, loaded up on all of that stuff because they even had the extra track packs.
Something else too, before we jump into these sets that we're going to discuss, every so couple of years they would re-release all the different track sets. You'd have crosses, you'd have the mergers, you'd have the straight, the curved. Some were electric, some weren't, some were, and I'm thinking to myself in the back of my head, I'm like, dude, this is just like Minecraft. So you got a whole set of regular rails, and then you got a whole set of electrical rail, like powered rails,
right?
And depending on how fast or how efficient you would want your train to run and your setup, would you buy all electrical rails where the metal was just ran all the way through, so it was always having a constant connection, or if you didn't, because I know that the train engines had enough push to where they didn't have to be on electric rails. They could just you could pop a battery in it, which is normally a 9-volt, and just hit go. Well,
the other ones,
I don't know fully how the whole system actually works, but I would think that
so for any of the
having the powered rails would be awesome.
Yeah, powered rails is awesome. They clip together and that creates the connection. So you get current right through all of those. So, and then it would run on this. You can kind of see the metal wheels there, and that would create that contact to actually get it to go. Earlier trains, like you said, though, they had the motor and the wheels turning inside here, and they didn't have a powered rail. They put a rubber band on this, and that gave it traction to just pull the thing along the track. And that's closer to what they do now. That's kind of what they've reverted back to, which is interesting. But
where the actual motor on the train is the one that moves it, and I've noticed some of those battery pack with wheels had the little rubber on them, like the later Christmas train. The holiday train.
Lone Ranger train, same thing.
Yeah, same thing there. Where they're just literally you put the battery in it and it goes.
Yep.
But there's less control.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. These ones. This was the most control like you could get with these old trains. Yeah.
Yeah. And now Steve is saying you could convert the plastic rail to a 9-volt with copper tape.
Really?
So I'm thinking that is like a model train guy.
Yeah.
Set of knowledge right there.
That sounds like model train guy knowledge for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
That's cool. I didn't know that. That's
really
quite
cool.
an interesting fact. So let's see. Jumping off right because we're kind of bumping back and forth between the 9-volt, 12-volt, the 4.5-volt, which I didn't even really know about till I was looking at it today. But in 1991 marked the end of the two previous voltages, so 12 and 4.5, and it was replaced completely by 9-volt, which I do see that making a lot of sense because having multiple different voltages, I would assume wouldn't necessarily like work well together. I don't know how compatible that would have been.
Yeah,
and so putting it all into one voltage makes sense.
That electric current thing is like beyond my
I'm not
expertise.
I'm not electrician, so I don't.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know how any of that stuff works.
So maybe I'm wrong.
I'm not putting trains in my castle, so
yeah, right. Well, yeah, and so I don't know if they were compatible. Maybe someone who had them would know. But I could see Lego just being like, yeah, we're gonna make it all the same, so you don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, but yeah.
Well, just side note, I have been collecting the Winter Village sets, and last year I picked up the Holiday Train.
Nice.
And it was an older version, obviously. But I just had bought the regular tracks that were available on Lego currently at last year, and it works just fine. Now they're just plastic rails, there's no metal in them. They're just like the $20 box with like whatever it is, 8 to 16 different pieces, straight and curved. So I was glad that worked out there. Yanago says, I think the 5.4 or the 4.5 volt was the battery operated trains versus the 12 volt was the rail pickups. 12 volt doesn't work with a 9 volt.
Okay. Yeah, totally makes sense. So so this was the battery powered box. You had it all in there and you set it on the plastic rail, let it go. This one drew, once it switched to 12, this drew the voltage from the actual track to make the train go. And it was controlled by something similar to this.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. So the 4.5 was the type of like the motor itself on these little guys. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And then they're not compatible. I didn't think they were. I assumed they weren't. It doesn't sound like they were, but again, I'm not super like.
No, that's like trying to take a V6 out of a car and put a V8 in it. It doesn't just work. There's all kinds of modifications, like copper tape and stuff like this.
Yeah,
you probably have to do.
Yeah, it's like putting the wrong voltage of light bulb or wattage of light
bulb.
Well,
do you have anything else that you want to add here before we jump into these sets?
I got one last little interesting thing I thought about. Okay. Yeah, so this whole Lego train series, I mean, it's pretty early on with Lego. This is one of their kind of original things, but it was the first time that I kind of noted that they gathered a whole pre-existing audience, a fandom from outside of Lego, and catered to them and brought them in way before any kind of licensed products. So they weren't pulling anything else really. I mean, I guess like maybe Castle fans and City fans, but like that's just life, right? So this is a kind of the first time Lego pulled in a pre-existing hobby group of people. And the reason I say that is because the first like tabletop train sets, around the Christmas tree style train sets, came out in 1891 in Germany. And then by the early 50s, they were like a household item in America, and like every kid on Christmas was getting one of these trains. And so they had an audience, right? That's a good chunk of time before Lego was even invented.
Yeah,
that people were playing with these trains. And so when Lego saw that, they were able to bring that group in. So I kind of see it as the first catering to an outside group of people. Now they do it way too much on Adidas and all kinds of other things. I don't care about any of that, but like at the time it made a lot of sense. So I think that's kind of a cool observation there that I found. That's kind of something I wanted to mention.
That was probably the first time Lego did that.
Yes. Oh well, I feel like that would be.
I mean, I would have to say that would be accurate. I mean,
Well, and the way that they did it too, they did it so well. They catered so well to actual train enthusiasts and like tabletop, model train people, because 200 and some odd sets. That's crazy. And these things have like automatic railroad crossings, remote coupling and decoupling. Like they went all the way with this theme. And so they made it basically the actual train hobby completely in Lego.
Yeah. and then you had all the extra add-ons of Lego So the train hobby guys could literally build the entire thing that they were building out of Lego. Barns, farms on the side of the track, a little town, mountain, trees, all of it. Everything. Everything could be built out of Lego.
The port, the airport, the seaport. Build all that, run a track right next to that. Good to go. Yeah, especially all of Lego City, and the fact that it all looked so good together, right? Like all the style was the same, so it just looks really nice together.
Yeah. So, yeah. Dr. Novak says the 12-volt had better switches.
Okay.
It's good to note.
It probably did.
Charang is wondering why you don't want an Adidas Lego shoe, man.
Because I don't.
I don't either.
I don't want no Lego Adidas. Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm not real fond of those.
I don't know. I'm not a stupid guy.
I think it was kind of stupid.
Well, so sure. I don't know. I don't know that. I think I've had a pair of shoes Adidas at some point. They're fine. What I see Lego doing now, and we're not going to get too far off track, I promise, Andrew. But good. Jumping on this same train, the idea it's the sneaker group, right? So it's the people who are the sneaker heads, right? They're trying to pull in this group that doesn't care about Lego, never has really. They're into sneakers, right? They're into pop culture, whatever it is, different thing, or not pop, whatever. And they're catering to that group of people. So I just don't see it as being that successful, and it definitely doesn't cater to the rest of the Lego fans that are out there that don't really care about shoes. Like, I don't know. That's my take on that. So
I'm not real fond of it.
I think you can cater too much to too many things, and then you start losing your core audience. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, continue on, my friend.
All right. So let's jump in here to 1985. Here's where we start our adventure.
Yeah. Yes.
I do not pull all the information on all of these, but these were all released in 1985. The reason I brought these up was because 7715 passenger steam train was a push along, not a battery operated. It is one of the first trains that I had.
Very cool.
As a kid.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then that piece that with the red wheels that you've got is the piece that goes on 7722, the steam cargo train, which was basically the same engine, basically.
Okay. Yep.
As the one that I had, except it had an extra car and it was battery powered.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
And these other two trains here were, also obviously notable. I mean, all four of these you could have bought all four of these in the same year and had them all running on a series of tracks.
Very nice.
And if you'll notice, those two at the bottom there both are running the 12 volt.
Okay.
Those are 12 volt models.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I love the yellow one. I've got parts to that yellow one, and I have parts to the 7722 as well. I have them sitting in bin somewhere, but I don't have the actual trains, but I do have parts for them, and they're really great little pieces. Lots of really unique parts on these, actually. Some really cool two-tone doors with prints on them and stuff like that. Some really phenomenal work from Lego on all of these trains.
Something that I wanted to note was the freight train set had the blue motorcycle with the red wheels and the little yellow 1x1 tile with the number 2 on it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I think I came across that motorcycle with the number 2 on it, but I think it was in another set, like a town set of some sort.
That sounds familiar. Yeah. I think it's shown up a couple times.
Mm-hmm. So these were the I feel like these were the start.
Yeah.
Where trains really started to become trains in Lego.
Right. Because the things that were coming out in 65 were, like we were saying, pretty blocky, kind of not quite there.
Not really worth talking about.
This is where, like you said, these are not 12 volts down here. That one was the 4.5 for the motor, internal motor. So this is where you actually could get train vibes, where you put a train down, lay some track, and actually see it moving. So
which was really good.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Then we jump into the official era.
That's the one, man. That is
the official era of trains.
That's the train right there.
With the Metro liner.
Yep.
784 pieces, 11 minifigs, $149 at retail, 1991.
You can see them right there getting
Yep,
stopped by the Black Knights.
On the cover, one of my favorite little mini books.
Yep. So, and it debuted on a couple different books, actually, because it was quite a legendary train.
And if I would have had more time, I would have pointed out how these were all displayed in the mini books as well. Because, I mean, the images portrayed in those books really kind of set the mood for the train environment.
They capture, just like they do with everything else.
Just like they did with everything else in the mini books. They captured attention quickly.
A lot of a very men at work vibe, you know. You got the hard hats, and you've got the coal getting pulled out, and like big chunks of like loose 1x1s representing different like broken up asphalt, and like it's a very industrial feel. It's quite exciting to look at these pictures. They really give a very cool vibe.
Nathaniel's saying they hit such a high note here. It's a beautiful set. I agree. I also agree that it was a good idea to add the club car in the same build style and color as the Metroliner. So you had another car that you could add on to your train right off rip. And I want to say that was one of the first times that actually happened. And it was considerably like, this belongs with this, and they could have put them in the same damn box.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
you know, so I mean, there's a couple of little mini setups that were released over the years that you would say, okay, well, this car from this year would definitely go with this train from this other year.
I see.
You know, but these were so close together.
Right. It was like, here's the set, and then here's an add-on.
Yeah.
Which I love add-ons. I think it's awesome. In this particular case, like you said, it does go so closely. It's the same color, it's the same car. It goes to that train, and the fact is, you can't do much without the original set, right? Like, you just have a car. There's nothing else you can do with it. As a solo buy. That being said, I would assume they kept it out of this set because it probably would have pushed their price piece and point and parts point, because they didn't have any 1,000-piece sets. They kept everything under 1,000 up until 2000 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like going into 2000s, I think they started pushing that number up, but up until like even the castles, were all like 981 pieces or something, right? So they probably didn't add it. Like today, they probably would. They probably add 2 more, right? Make that a whole thing, but I'm glad they have that set as an add-on, though. That's really cool they did that.
Yeah. Yanaga says the Metroliner didn't come with the speed regulator, so you couldn't run it out of the box.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So not all of the boxes.
Did the Metroliner have the metal wheels on it? Does anyone know?
It looks like it does.
It looks like it, but that could be, I mean, we all know what we're capable of doing with Photoshop. So
yeah. Unfortunately, like, I didn't own really any of these trains. My buddy owned one from, I think we have a picture of one that he owned a little later on down the road. But okay, it says Dr. Novak says no Lego train has surpassed the Metro. Okay, yeah, Metroliner.
It's a great train.
So not all the trains came with the speed regulators then.
Yeah, Steve says the Metroliner was a 9-volt.
Got it.
And Yanago said yes, it had the metal wheels. So it had the metal wheels ready for the electric tracks with your speed regulator. But then you'd have to have that, and then obviously some metal track, and so there was quite a few things you'd have to run the Metroliner.
Got it.
But man, what a great set this was.
Dude, I love
it. Also very notable from 91 is this setup. The crocodile locomotive and the Loden Hall Railroad.
Oh, the crocodile locomotive is famous. Like, that's so famous they remade it not that long ago.
Oh, I know. And then they made the really big brown one too, right? Is that the one you're talking about?
That is the remake. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they made it more accurately colored, I guess. But like, this is the original. This one, I mean, I've got a buddy who's like way back. He's older than both of us, right? So he's an like OG Lego fan, and he talks about this guy all the time. Crocodile locomotive. He knows all the set numbers, and yeah, he gets so excited about this train, so he was stoked to see the remake. But yeah, no, this is definitely one of the most iconic Lego train engines for sure.
Yeah, so these were both released in '91 as well, and obviously they're branded the same color scheme.
I like it. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So,
well,
you know,
what I love about Lego trains is you see the consistency in Lego that they carry out through, especially old Lego sets. Like, so anything before the 90 or before 2000s.
Yeah.
And they do it still, and they carry that. It's just not as prominent. Like you said, they're the same logo, just like the ships have like their same logos and things like that. So, and the Octan and the Black Knights and the Blackrons, right? There's this consistency that makes it feel cohesive and makes it feel like it's all from the same world. So when you buy scattered groups of sets from different things, it all feels like it goes together. And so I love that you pointed that out with the logos and stuff like that, because they did a great
Judas
job.
says, I never had any Lego trains, but 150 seems pretty expensive for 91. He is correct. In 1991, that was half your weekly paycheck right there.
Yeah, 150 is pretty steep. Is that the original price for this?
Well, 120 was on the load and haul, but I'm thinking that the Metroliner was like 140, 149, yeah, from Metroliner.
Wow.
And that was and like one of the comments, they said that you couldn't run this right out of the box.
So it didn't even have the regulator.
No, you had to. I mean, it was, you had probably another $100 to $200 in parts and things and other setups that you had to have even to run this efficiently.
Interesting. Cost of production is probably a big piece of that, right? I mean, these little
I would think so.
Motors and things like that, they're not gonna be cheap. Putting metal in every single track piece is gonna be expensive. So
yeah,
I could see that. These are coming right off the heels of when they started powerizing the trains. So you're gonna figure out cheaper ways to do it later on, possibly. But starting out, you're gonna have to charge a little bit more for these. Yeah.
So I mean, I thought that those were those were good.
These are great. I really actually, to be honest, since I didn't have any like nostalgia for the crocodile locomotive, I like the load and haul locomotive better. I like its style more.
Yeah.
Personally, just as an aesthetic, like I like the look of that more, but
it does look nice. I think the thing that attracted me a lot to the trains was the industrial feel.
Yeah.
Of the minifigs, the accessories, the parts that came with them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I grew up in Indiana, okay, in a town called Frankfort.
Yeah.
And it was the connection between the East and the West back when trains were just becoming trains, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So there's a giant train station in my hometown in Indiana that's called Nickel Plate. Cool. And so like when you would go out to the west side of town, there was a spot where you could literally cross 10 tracks. Wow. So all these things that you see in this entire Lego theme of trains is in that town.
Got it.
Like still, maybe it's not working or active anymore, but it's still there.
Yeah. Well, and as a kid, I loved trains. I wanted to be a conductor when I was little. And so, yeah, I wanted to be a paleontologist because I like dinosaurs. I want to be a conductor. Those were two things I loved as a kid, like a 5-year-old kid. And so my parents would take me to the train station, because we live up in Washington here in Washington State. We have tons of ports, right? So there's lots of water. Well, where does all the stuff that comes in on the cargo ships needs to go somewhere? It goes on trains, right? So like you said, just like in your town, tons of train tracks. Yeah, we have tons of trains up in Washington. They're running all over the place, big train yards and stuff like that. So I grew up around it all the time as well. So yeah, I think it speaks to both of us just being around these a lot. Yeah, though I love and jumping back, I love the passenger trains. They look cool, but when I see one of these, the cargo trains, man, that's where I
mean, again, coming from a train town as a kid, right? when you heard, when the damn thing dropped down in front of the road, you knew you were going to sit there for 30 minutes. You weren't waving at people going by, right? You were looking at tanker cars, and cargo, grain, and all these kinds of things,
logs, grain. Yep.
Forever. And
Forever.
you would literally sit there forever, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, until this damn train would go past so that you could cross the road.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here listening, I'm listening to whatever's on the radio. I'm like 5. I'm like on my knees, peeking out of the front seat, like watching the train go by, So I mean, the industrial version of the train is definitely a little bit more, sentimental to me, I suppose, versus the Metro liner and stuff like that.
More appealing,
yeah.
It speaks to you a little bit more, as it does to me, because like driving through Tacoma, Seattle, these cities around our port of Tacoma, just lines of tracks with like cars lined up doing things, and so same vibe that you see in these little booklets.
Steve says, Jason, if you look at the 9-volt track, only the top portion is metal and it's bent over the plastic rail underneath it.
I don't know if you guys can see. I'm going to hold it up.
Well,
here.
let me make you full screen here.
You see that?
Yeah.
Just the top. Yeah. Okay. There you go. So you can see, like it's talking about. Yep. And then it's folded over. So you're right. And then there's like the little spacing along the bottom here. So
now see that comes as one unit, right?
Yeah. So this is one piece, and then you have a curved piece. And then you can clip them together like we showed earlier, right? And then you can start your track. You can keep it going that way. So but you're right. It's just along the top to create that connection for the train.
Cool. So this was the industrial train of 91. So jumping ahead to 94, we got the freight rail runner.
Same,
which is very similar.
I think it's a little better designed, though.
It is a little bit better designed. So note this, okay? The one from 91 was a red train.
Mm-hmm.
The one from 94 is a yellow train. Here, I'll pop back and forth to them.
Okay, yeah.
You got a red train with some yellow accessories and carts and crates and things like this, and then it's reversed on this one. So you've got the yellow train technically, right? And then you've got a lot of red features. They are different carts, though.
Okay.
Individual cars, right?
Yes,
like they're a different style. Like the one on the back of the red train is more like a baler car.
Yeah.
And then you got some heavy freight. And then you got a mail car on this one.
I love that, dude. I love that so much. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can see like there's little mail packages in here.
And then this one on the back looks like a coal car almost, or something.
Almost, yeah. It looks more like a loom, but whatever.
Well, that's a fun. I looked at the instructions for this one a while back because I was curious about those technic parts in there, and that allows you to dump the coal out the side. So it's like an actual it's an interesting system they created there with that little wheel on the side, the gray wheel.
Oh yeah. So it probably dumps into that little that little pickup truck.
Yep.
Little tow truck thing.
It's a functional thing. Yeah. I have the tow truck. I have the tow truck and crate to this set. Got a bunch of random pieces.
Lovely.
Yeah, and I think I have most of that back car. That's why I looked up the instructions. Because I was like, what does this do? Like, why is this here? Yeah, no, it's a great train. I love this train a lot. Let's see.
Nice. Lego Composer says, that's awesome. You're from Indiana. Me too. Muncie. Yeah, I'm from Frankfurt. I don't know if you know where Frankfurt is. It's north of Indy, which was a train town as well. We would wait 30, 40 minutes for the train. To come through. Yeah.
Good stuff.
I literally, Lego Composer, I literally lived until I was about 9. There was a road and then there was a train track. So if I was on my front porch, I could watch the train.
Love it. Dude, some people don't like the noise and the train and everything, man. I love that.
I mean, I didn't have a choice. I was like, I was 7, 8 years old,
Yeah.
Steve says new windscreens on in 94. Yes.
I see that. Yeah.
Those are
very
super
nice.
cool.
Very nice parts.
Low Red Lorry 4564 is a great little build. I'm not sure which one that is that he's talking about. Was that here? No.
It might be a different one because we were like we said we weren't able to pull up even half of them here because there's
not even close. Not even close.
And unfortunately I just don't have as much knowledge in the train aspect.
135 is a ton and 94. Ouch. Yeah.
These were expensive.
They were expensive.
A lot of like electric parts and things like that on them. So yeah, they come with a decent amount of pieces, but not anything crazy.
Yeah. Comment from Mirko. I was always so excited to see those trains in the old catalogs.
Yeah.
Because I knew that after those pages usually came castle and pirate themes.
Yep. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's like a nice little getting you warmed up for the good stuff because trains looked great in those catalogs.
They did.
But nothing to the Castle and Pirate. I've looked at Castle and Pirate so much that going back and looking at the train displays is really refreshing and exciting. But
I see that.
I could see them, getting excited to see those Castle and Pirates.
So, on my previous note here of the color shift, right?
Yeah.
So we had the red industrial. Now we've got the yellow industrial cargo trains. So I wanted to make note of the two train stations that are almost identical,
like really close.
So the yellow one released in 1991.
Okay.
With the Metro liner.
Now, did you have that set?
I had this one, yes.
Okay, I thought so.
The yellow one.
Yes.
And then the train station was a limited release, released in 96, was literally the exact opposite. I mean, there's only a few parts that are actually different, but the build is almost identical.
So did they change up even the little cart and stuff, or is that
no, it was literally in the yellow one, the cart was red. And in the red one, the cart was yellow.
They pulled a fast one here, man.
They literally, it's like almost the same identical set. It's funny. Like instead of a yellow fence, you got a black fence.
Well, and I think when you mentioned the yellow one, I knew the red one in my head, and I'm like, nah, dude, that's a red train station, and because I was like, I don't remember the yellow one, but then we pull it up here because there was the same set in two colors. That's
right.
Funny.
Nathaniel is comparing the 135 and 94 to 260 with inflation, so maybe today's prices aren't so bad on trains.
Yeah, maybe. I guess. I don't know, man. I don't like today's trains. They look like crap.
Yeah, Yanogo's saying the train stations were exactly the same.
Wow.
Yeah, I figured they were. I mean, like if you really, really look at them, it's like literally the same parts verbatim, just different color.
I kind of like that. Lego didn't do that often.
No, but in the trains, like I said, like one year they'd release a yellow train, and then the next year they'd release a red train, and everything would be flip flop. They did the same thing with the stations.
Only they didn't change it up like they did with the trains, because the trains are
not really. The trains are a little bit more different.
Yeah, that's fun.
But literally the same base plate, same pier base plate, which was kind of cool. I mean, that was the cool part, right?
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make note of it. I think that there's actually 11 minifigs in the red one, but I think there's 11 minifigs in both. There's only one piece difference in the part count listed, and there's $1 difference in the cost.
Interesting. Yeah. That one piece was $1.
That one piece was $1. Yeah.
That extra piece, I wonder what it was.
So
yeah.
Then jumping into additional 96 releases was the Freight and Crane Railway, which was an awesome set.
This might be the best train set. There's the other one. I sent you a picture of one of my favorites. Unfortunately, we didn't get the picture up here because there's just too many. It's called Classic Train, and it's 3225 for people who want to check it out. But that one, and then this one, the Freight and Crane Railway, those are my top two. And this one's, one day I am going to have to get a hold of this set because it's just too cool.
Yeah. It's got the concrete mixer car. You see that back there?
Yep.
And it's got those big winch cranes that they use in the seaports.
Yeah, and
which
they
is
used
awesome.
those claws in Trans Blue on AquaZone.
Right?
On the
yeah,
the AquaZone main AquaZone base. Yeah.
And then over here next to it, you got the Blacktron train.
Yeah, straight up. Honestly,
straight up.
Just put that on the monorail. You got the Blacktron train.
Right? No,
that's the train my buddy had, I believe.
Yeah, so I think that the cargo railway, even though it looks more like a passenger train, it feels a lot like a Metroliner.
Yeah, and this one feels maybe more European. I could be wrong, because the one on the left here, maybe it's the right for people watching. I'm not sure. I think it's the same. We're on the same. So the cargo, the freight and crane railway, looks like something I would have seen growing up.
Yeah, me too.
But it's weird they call cargo railway on that yellow and black one, because I think aren't there some passengers on that?
Yeah, they're passenger cars. It's all glass down the side.
Yeah. Kind of weird. You can switch out the cargo and stuff in there, though. So it's more of a modular system, which I like. I think that's really cool. With the cargo things, if I remember playing with it at my friend's house back in the day, it had a little bit more versatility, but it does look more like a passenger train than a cargo train to me. So
yeah, I agree.
What do we got a comment jumping on here?
Yeah, Nathaniel is saying consider showing the 2018 freight train later to compare. It's a pretty solid set.
Oh yeah, anything up till 2018. Some of those trains are very nice. Hey Taz, good evening. Welcome on, my friend. Up until 2018, I think the trains were pretty solid. They had some really nice, big spools of wire that were on those cargo trains. They had the cows that you could be transporting with the cages and things like that. The big cranes, they had those set up. It's the two recent trains, the cargo train and the passenger train. They totally changed up the style of both of those. They added really nasty colors to them, and they just look terrible. They're like this new age looking weird train Lego City stuff. I hate it. But up until, he's right. 2018 is when they kind of stopped making the good ones. But I do like those trains a lot.
Yeah, and technically, the Lego system trains stopped in 2007. So anything after that was considered town or city.
Well, and it's worthy to point out, like you just said, that in 2006 they actually took away trains completely and put it into Lego City under Lego City as a sub theme of Lego City. And I was talking to you earlier. I was like, just like they did with Rock Raiders and made Volcano Explorers. So we lost our Rock Raiders. We lost Johnny Thunder Jungle because now it's City Jungle. What's the other ones? They did, all of the divers, all of the Arctic, all of those got shoved into City. So
all those got shoved into City.
So we lost those core like themes, those big independent themes, those original in-house themes, and they pushed them all into City. This was kind of the first time that happened.
Dr. Novak says the cargo railway, all your passengers in containers.
Yeah. Stuff them in there. Yeah, that's
fun. And Steve is saying that the new passenger train looks hideous. I don't doubt that one bit.
I looked at it once and I've never looked at it again.
Well, here's the thing. I don't really look at that whole I'd never even click on that on the website.
Yeah.
And when I get the shop at home catalog, I flip past all that stuff.
I think I accidentally opened the catalog to it on one day.
Yeah, it's not really up my alley
anymore. I had to clean my eyeballs.
Right.
It was hard to look at. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's the downfall of Lego trains, just like the downfall of many awesome themes. They got crammed into City and now they're just a sub theme of City. So
yeah. All right, let's jump into this awesome 2001 thing.
This was a cool chapter in Lego train history.
It was, and I think honestly, it was like one of the pinnacles of the train scenario, because you could get two different size engines. You get a light for the engine, the tender car. Yeah. And then they had they were selling individual train cars, which was a little bit more in the hobby train realm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Then they had color packs for the locomotive where you could change them blue, green, brown, black, or dark gray.
Crazy.
which was awesome.
They've never done anything like this.
No, and I mean this setup right here was the collector version of Lego Train.
Yeah,
this was if you wanted to build your own train, this was it. This was it for you right here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love, like you pointed out, that you could get 2 different size engines. They have that extension engine down below. Yeah. And then imagine like just thinking about it for a second, you're like, okay, well, I want a kind of an old school looking passenger train. So you grab one of those engines, you get it in the right color, you grab 2 or 3 of those passenger cars, the caboose, you got your passenger train.
Done.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Or, switch it over, do a log trains. You got the log car, you get 3 or 4 of those log cars, you throw up a lumber camp somewhere in your Lego city. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it, man.
East Coast Lego is saying it's not horrible, but it's average at best. I assume he's probably talking about the new passenger train as well.
2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crusader, weren't divers always city though, or are we thinking more Aqua Zone? Crusader, divers were city technically, right? And that's probably why Aqua Zone and the Aqua Sharks got discontinued. It was technically its own theme, but it was city people.
No. Divers is a completely separate theme from city. It fits in city, but just like Paradisa.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But just like Paradisa, it's not city. What the difference is that Lego City Divers is what they call it now. Like the Lego City Space, they put city on these boxes.
Yeah.
Like Divers had their own theme. Didn't say town or city anywhere on the box. Like, yes, it was like a sub theme considered of city, but like it wasn't city. And so that's I think the difference there is like they specifically say Lego City Arctic, Lego City Jungle, Lego City Volcano Explorers. Like, yeah, it's very much grouped into one thing now.
Steve is saying he has all the My Own Train series. So obviously, this was like I said, I think one of the pinnacles of the whole train hobby, the whole train hobby genre and world. That's where Lego really could pick up by customizing these trains.
Well, it sounds like Steve came out of all of the 9-volt. He got all those extra things. He's got 9 of the controllers. So seeing this come out for him probably was a big win for.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, for anybody that liked trains, this was a win.
This is massive. Yeah.
I mean, I love the fact that they had the caboose, and then the log trailer, which is super awesome.
Yeah.
Tanker. I mean, because the tanker trailers, they would throw a tanker trailer or 2, tanker car or 2, but just in front of the caboose on even passenger trains back in the day.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so they don't have one thing they're missing here, but I guess that's such a simple build. Was it like a cargo car? But like you don't really need. It's not that impressive. So these ones I like these. This is a good choice to have these 4 cars. I think that's the most customizable. You don't really need a box car because you can build those very easily.
And from 1991 and 2001, we had the re-release of the Metroliner and the Railroad Club Car.
Oh, right. As part of is that part of the Lego Legends release?
Yeah, it was the 10001 and 10002.
What did I miss?
Well, I think that is why the Metroliner and the Railroad Club Car is so popular, because they were re-released a decade later. So they hit a whole new group of people. So there's older guys like me that know of the Metroliner from 1991.
Yeah.
And then there's people that's your age that knew about the Metroliner from 2001.
Well, I remember it. Yeah. 1991. I would have still probably known about it from 91, but I wouldn't have really registered much about it. I would have been like, okay. Because I would have been like, what? Well, yeah. I would have been like 10, 11. So I would have still seen it. But I probably would have been like focused on Castle at that point, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, coming out in 2001, yeah, that's a good point. I do recall it very clearly being part of that Lego Legends release. What do we got, Nathan?
Nathaniel's saying, listen, 2001 gets a bad rap because of the turn into juniorized sets, but the My Own Train line was the peak of Lego trains. So he agrees.
I mean, I would say that it culminates with these. I don't know that I mean, without what we got before, these are nothing. Like coming off the heels of all that 9-volt action, these are like gold.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
He also says the craziest part of these is that you could bricklink all the parts for cheaper than buying any of the individual sets. Yeah, I don't doubt that a bit. I do that all the time. I do that like in my sleep.
Well, it doesn't work with new sets as much anymore, but it does work with all these older sets because they're more basic parts. They don't have the trillion new parts with like 7,000 stickers. So
yeah, now the 2001, now that was before the color change.
Mm-hmm.
Where we had some color shifting around.
Old
gray, brown, the reddish brown. Yeah, the grays. Not that there was a huge factor in this overall. But
read Steve's comment. That's really interesting.
Yeah, back in the day, Steve is saying back in the day, tanker cars were added to a passenger trains to distribute weight and quicker emergency braking. Fun fact for the old steel rails.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Yanago said he traded the Black Falcon's Fortress for the Unitron space base in the 90s for a Metro liner. Black Falcon's Fortress and Unitron space base.
I would have said just Black Falcon's Fortress. Fine. Unitron space, dude. I've got that right here. That set is amazing. I love the Unitron space. So I don't know if I would have been able to pull that off, but I do. I mean, I get the nostalgia around this Metro. So
yeah, like I said, it
depends on when you're kind of from, right?
Yeah, it's more the Unitron era. It kind of spanned over a decade.
Yeah,
of the knowledge and know-how. The retail versus the 91 release versus the 2001 release. It touched a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So jumping into the 2002 here, we have the Santa Fe Super Chief with the Santa Fe accent car sets that you can build.
This thing's so well designed.
It is very well designed.
I think mind-blowingly well. It looks just like the one you could buy in that little silver train you could get for Christmas.
Yeah, it does.
It looks exactly like that.
Yeah. I mean, this was a really good one, in my opinion. This was very well done.
Mm-hmm.
This could have led into something really great for trains. But in 2002, they were 5 years away from shutting it down.
Well, they were 5 years away from bankruptcy, too.
Well, I mean, we all know that period they started producing a lot of crap.
Yeah. So that train, yeah. Nothing lasts forever. And the fact that they got 200 and some odd train sets out of this run before they squished it in the city, before they almost went bankrupt and all that, I think they had one of the best runs any Lego theme has ever had.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see what you're saying. This could have been a opening into like a golden era of trains that could have been incredible. But instead it's like a final going out with a bang. But
yeah, Steve says the Santa Fe Super Chief is still his favorite. And he's so glad that he owns it. Yeah, I would definitely hold on to that guy right there.
I am glad that you own it as well. That is very cool. Yeah, one of the best trains designs ever.
One of the best, for sure. And I guess maybe I can get some assistance here and from some of these train guys in here. There's two different sets that are released as the Santa Fe.
Okay.
Extra cars, right? So I'm not sure. The way that it was explained to me was that it was a box of pieces that you could build a couple of different style of cars out of.
Okay.
And there was two different sets. Okay. Obviously, you can see the 22-1 is like all windows.
Yeah.
And then the 25-1 is it's got doors on the side. So I'm not sure if those are just the only two, or there's several others.
Interesting. So it's a little more, maybe they were going off of more of a customizable feel there. You could get a couple different cars and build a couple different styles, perhaps.
Cho Range is saying, you guys might mention it, but the Train Shed 10027 from 2003 was a fantastic set. That was with the World City Cargo train.
I think is
And
that the big red barn for trains?
Yeah, I mean that's typically what a train shed looks like. Yeah. Didn't you ever watch Thomas the Train, dude?
What was that?
Did you ever watch Thomas the Train?
Yeah.
See, you should know this stuff.
Yeah, but I think they had. There's been so many different train sets, but yeah, I remember that set he's talking about. Yeah, it's a great set. I thought, I could be wrong. I thought that was part of the Lego My Own Creation line with the blacksmith. Because I think that came out with that same. That might have been fan designed, actually. I'd have to double check on that, but I think it might have been.
I do not exactly know right offhand what that set looks like, but again, I mean, out of 207 sets,
yeah,
you know, I wanted to pick some notables. You know, obviously there was, you know, changeover rails and little stopping points and, you know, this and that. And I mean, there's so many different sets. I probably just overlooked it.
Yeah, no, this is a little later. I believe I know which one he's talking about. It's a great set. It's like a big train barn. But I could almost swear that it was designed as part of the My Own Creations, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Nathaniel is saying that was a World City set, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, World City got some wacky stuff happening. I will say that, but oh, go ahead.
Here's the information. Yanago says the Santa Fe has 3 sets technically. 10022 has 3 sets of instructions. 10025 has 2 sets of instructions. And 10020 came in 2 versions. One in a limited 10,000 quantity release with a certificate. and one general.
Well, now we know.
Yeah, so the Santa Fe was pretty special.
Yeah, basically. It was. Holy moly.
Right?
Wow. Well, thanks
for that train, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we got general information. Like we said, I don't think either of us had too much to do with actual toy trains growing up.
No.
But I'm so glad you guys are in the comments dropping all this great knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, even still, even though we're not huge train people, we're not here to be like train conductors. You know, we're here to talk about Lego and Lego made trains,
and that's
they're nostalgic to a certain degree, I suppose.
Absolutely. Well, and I guess that's what I'm saying is it's great to have people in the comments who are also engaging in the conversation and dropping in that awesome knowledge. So that's so good.
Yanago says the limited release also came with a specific numbered piece of 1 of 10,000, 1 through 10,000. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. That's awesome.
Or 1,000. He says 1,000, not 10,000.
Oh, got it. Got it.
So a custom a custom part, I would say to the set that you got, and you were the only one that got it.
It's pretty nice.
That is very nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, this is a great train all around.
Yeah,
phenomenal. One of the
nice little setup right here.
Yep.
2004, this guy released the Burlington Northern Santa Fe, which was kind of cool. I mean, it was just an engine.
Yeah.
Same basic lower build part as the other Santa Fe. But I think that this one, if I'm not mistaken, this was actually branded for a company.
It does look like that. I like this train because it just, again, goes back to that kind of industrial feel. It's just a beefy hauler. I like it. It's got a good look. I also really like the minifigs.
Yeah, the minifigs are good.
They're standard city figs, but the way they made them with the little bandana and the overalls, it just feels good. I like it.
Yeah,
nice. He's got that one as well.
Here, let's see.
Was that Steve?
No, that was Steve. Yeah, saying that he has this one as well.
Got the
yeah. So this engine here was very iconic, right? And this type of engine was the engine that was always pulling these cars in front of my house when I was a kid.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, jumping back to the Santa Fe real quick. That was the first train set that my dad got us as kids. Yeah. And that's why I know it so well. Like as far as like what it looks like, because in my brain, that's exactly what the little train set looked like that we got.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. Anyway, that was just a little thing, personal information about that. So, but yeah, no, this is a good looking little train. And did this come out around the same time that those custom cars? Could you add those to this one, or is this just a kind of a standalone?
I mean, you could. This was a 2004 release.
Okay.
And this was 2 years before.
And then what about the what year did that? Was it 2001 for these guys?
Okay. 2001 for the individuals.
So if they spanned across long enough, then you could make some really great trains with all three of these different styles.
Well, they really did. They really did. I mean, this was in 2001. We were just tickling our toes with the internet.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Lego sets that would come out in 2001 were still available 3 or 4 years later.
Yeah. Well, some of the set life was just set longer too. Nowadays, I don't know if you saw the list of retiring Lego sets, like that organic market one, and all of these different, it's the farm van, the farmer's market truck from Lego City that came out, like, I believe early this year, is already set to retire. Not even a full year. So like they're just like slashing and burning these things now. Like back in the day, they stick on the shelf for 4 years.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the problem with making so many sets. You have to clear them out to get your new waves in and keep people's attention span, I guess. So it's weird that they're...
Well, everybody's got a shorter attention span and everybody wants it now and yesterday.
Well, when you're making Nikes,
And with the
Nike
internet
out of here, get something else in here, right?
See the way that the internet is nowadays is, people can have that. There's no shelf life on anything anymore.
Yeah, well, and then
either
you get the urgency
and sell out, or and you don't get it, or you pay double for it if you don't get it.
Puts the urgency and drives sales. I get it's just, I don't know. It's just a fast paced. We're just like these train sets, like feel just, I don't know. It just feels like from a different time, right? Which they are. But yeah, like just the fact, just looking at them and then thinking about how things are done today, it's just different, So,
Nathaniel said his mother-in-law made a Christmas stocking for his son with an engineer minifig on it. That's pretty cool.
With that engineer minifig, that's awesome. The one from the Santa Fe, the second one.
Yeah, probably. And Steve is saying, if you watch any live train channels, you will often see mixed power pulling a freight train.
Okay. That's interesting.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that pretty much.
That's it.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps up my train slides here that we can discuss. Now, obviously, we talked about maybe a total of 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 sets total. And there's 207.
Right.
So
yeah, so like that one was mentioned, the big cargo, or no, sorry, the big train housing area. They have a lot of, like, I think I sent you a picture earlier of like a little like freight like depot, right? Like they had so many exterior like walkways, crosswalks. They had the crosswalk above, they had the crossing below for the cars. Like you could customize and build out your train display in almost any way you could imagine with the stuff they provided.
Yeah, it was literally limitless.
Yeah, crazy. Well,
it could be as big as your wallet is deep.
And I mentioned to you before we got on here how much I wish that they had done Lego Castle the way they had done Lego Train, or how much I wish they would do Lego Castle that way, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of like with the whole customizable thing, the fact that you could even get different colors, right, of the same kit. Crazy. Like, where is that? Like now, I guess maybe.
Yeah, I don't think Lego's done that at all for any other.
They did on a couple creator sets recently. There's like a weird dinosaur you can get in a different color. And I've seen this floating around Instagram. I just don't know if it's like worldwide or US or just in Europe. But yeah, there's like 2 sets where it's like, look, you can get this dino in red or green, but it's just like a little creator set. It's not the same. It's not at all the same.
Is it the T-Rex? Is it
it's
the
T-Rex? The little weird T-Rex. I think it's probably gone now. Like
the green one. I have like 3 of the green one.
Yeah, he came in.
And it's a little older. Like they had one at Dollar General.
Really?
And I bought it like 2 years ago, and I already had like 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
I was just like, there's that dinosaur again. Let me get that.
So there's weird. I've bumped into a couple comments and posts about them having this availability to get different colors and sets, but it's like I said, it's like small creator sets, like nothing. Yeah. And you couldn't really do that with a lot of sets they make today anyway.
Well, I mean, but what they did here with the trains, that was pretty substantial.
Yeah, no, that's great. Like that's insane. The fact that you had so much customizability with just the actual sets you could buy, but the fact they added that extra change out the colors of the engines on there, like did they have the colors on the cars too you could change?
No. Okay. No, but so in 2001 was the main bulk of the My Own Train collection, right? Yeah. So you've got a green passenger car that is released as an individual set, and then in 2002 they did release a blue passenger car that was like basically the same build as this, but it was blue instead of green.
Okay, so they kind of mixed it up a little more.
Yeah, but as far as the engines, the locomotive engine, was concerned, you could change all those colors out.
Okay, got it. Yeah, well, I mean, a couple of other notable things. The first Lego Christmas set we ever got was a train. It came out several years before they officially started a Winter Village series. Which was kind of on the heels of this style. And then I think the other real notable trains are probably going to be the Lone Ranger train that came out not super long ago.
Yeah.
That one. And then I guess the newer Christmas train that you just got. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I like the little one that I've got. It's very tiny. It's much smaller than you would think it would be based on the image of it. But it's very tiny. But it's cool. It's got some cool features. It obviously works on the current track.
Yeah.
And it's the one with the battery pack with the rubber wheels in it, and you just put it on and hit the on switch and it just goes around in circles. That's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I mean, I do appreciate that they still have Lego Train, even if it's in city and it's pretty diminished at this point. I do like that it's still there. I hope to see that keep going. And they still have a little bit on tracks and things like that you can get, so that's great. I did want to mention that the moving from the plastic rails, or moving from the metal rails over to the plastic rail, it does allow them to get the flex track, which is an interesting little concept where they have you can clip together multiple chunks and make like a flexible track that you can.
That's kind of cool.
It kind of fixes some issues if some things don't line up perfectly or whatever. Like you can kind of put in some flex track to fill a gap or something like that. So I do like that that's a possibility. You wouldn't be able to do that necessarily with the metal rails there. So there's some benefits to that, I guess. But overall, yeah, Lego Train is kind of almost gone, sort of. Like there's like 2, right? Like 2 trains and a track pack, kind of. So
yeah. Judah is saying, wasn't there a train that looked like it could fit in a Western theme that came out in the mid 90s with the Western sets?
No Western train. The first Western style train we got was from Toy Story. It was the train from the movie, and it looks very, very Wild West, but it's very cartoony and doesn't quite fit the style. And then the next train to go in Wild West was the Lone Ranger train. In 2014 or something like that. But no, they never did a Wild West train. I know people think like you'd assume that they had one, and people have done some really great mocks that look like they came right out of that era, but they never did that.
Yeah. Let's see. Yanago is saying the other notable recent trains are Midnight Express.
Yeah.
The Mirisk train, the Brown Crocodile, and the Horizon Express, all of which are creator, not city sets. Yes.
Interesting.
Basically, there's a lot of different trains. out there that are Lego that were not actually in the train theme.
Yeah, well,
And basically all we really talked about tonight was the train theme itself.
Yeah. So
yeah, obviously the brown crocodile, holy crap, what a great set that is. Well, I actually just wanted that. I wanted that just to have sitting on a shelf.
Yeah,
because it was such a cool set.
Yeah, no, and I think we did actually mention the brown crocodile, but because we mentioned that they had made the remake. Those are great. Midnight Express, I remember being massive. People love that one. And then Maersk, of course, those are famous not just for the train but the cargo ship sets too. So
yeah.
I think they had a truck.
I remember the cargo ships.
Did they have a truck too? I can't remember if they had a cargo, like a semi truck. I can't remember.
I think so, but a lot of those were like European release only.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that
it may not have been that one, but there was one specifically. I know that it was one of the famous tanker type deals that was only available in Europe.
Yeah. Also Harry Potter. I believe Harry Potter's first one of their Hogwarts Express runs on some of the old track, I think. I thought one of the first ones did.
Yeah, I think so.
So, I mean, we have some trains that cut across into like licensed products and stuff that still kind of fit into this theme a little bit. So
Steve's saying that he's got that Maersk train is the only one that he owns is still sealed in the box.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, that's a nice display piece as far as just keeping it in the box, but
yeah.
If you're not going to open it and use it, man, you could probably buy 3 old trains for that price of that one.
Yeah, Steve, you could sell it to me.
Taz says, with the bison mold, Jason knows about. Yeah, actually, that's true. It's a good point. That there is an old image of a train on a trestle bridge and the old molded bison pieces for Lego Wild West. That's an official Lego image. You can find it on the prototypes page somewhere on like Eurobricks, I think. And yeah, they were planning to do a train and Lego Bison as well. And they just didn't do that second wave of stuff. So, but yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that. That is so they had it in the works. There's also a Monster Fighters train and a Hidden Side train. So, trains kind of cut across all themes. They people love to see a train in whatever theme it is that they're working on.
But there's been several trains have been released, but they lost the train hobbyists in 2007.
Yeah, I would say that's probably pretty accurate. They definitely lost the hobby feel of the theme. Mm-hmm. Like we said, when they stuffed it in the city and made it some sort of like side thought of a larger theme, you lose that detail and attention. I think people who loved trains saw what Lego did with trains and appreciated the love and the detail they put into all those extra sets and all those different like things. I mean, like we said, it's you could build a train display just like you could with a tabletop train.
Yeah.
Just out of Lego. And you can't do that as easily anymore. Got to do a lot of custom stuff now.
Steve is saying he's got enough running stock for now. He'll likely open and build that Maersk in the next year.
Good.
As it expands his layout.
To open and build.
Steve, I'd be very interested in seeing your setup.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if your setup is cool and you want to share it with us, we could bring you in and show some images on our live. One of these days coming up. So just let me know on that. But I would be very interested in seeing that. You seem like you've probably got quite a few trains.
Yeah.
Rolling on the track.
Sounds like he's got a nice collection of all of the stuff from 70s, 80s, 90s back because he was on, I think he was on our Space Talk, right? Space Police.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're always open and interested to, talk about Lego because that's what we do here on Let's Talk About Lego. So reach out to us if you want to share some of that stuff with us. But yeah, that kind of rounds out the train topic. Like we said, there's hundreds and hundreds of them, and we could probably do another episode or two. But I think we covered the ones that mean
you something. You could do 4 or 5 episodes of trains. But I mean, I would think that it would just drag out and be very boring because there are a lot of very boring sets.
Yeah, a lot of them are like switch track 3.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
a lot of repeat sets, a lot of the same builds, kind of very similar builds, just in different colors. That they were basically hitting the new age group. About every 5 to 6 years, they were getting the same sets would roll out.
Sure.
Cargo train, passenger train, stopping point, station. Various cars, these kinds of things. So it was kind of repetitive, but if you were one of the lucky individuals to be into Lego, from the start of the trains, you could have a pretty impressive train setup.
Absolutely. And I don't even collect Lego train, but like I have, just from different things, like we said, they showed up in a couple other themes. I got the Lone Ranger one, I got the Christmas one, and so I have a nice setup that I can do with just getting a hold of some of the stuff that was over the years. So if you really focused up, like you said, and really tried to get a collection, man, you could really lay out a nice train table for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And it'd be so awesome to just be a billionaire, to just have like a warehouse with like 57 themes built out on like a 10 by 20 table. That would be amazing. That'd be so fun.
People live that out at like a con, right, where they collaborate and they get the big train tables and stuff, but it's not the same. But
but I'm extremely selfish when it comes to my bricks.
I know.
Like, you don't touch my bricks
unless they're old gray, then you can ship them to me.
Yeah, I should be free. Good talk about the trains. A lot of detail in there, a lot of sets.
Thanks everyone.
So anyway, especially Crusader, if you're still in here, I know you're super excited. Next week, we're going to be talking about Jason's 2 factions.
All right.
The Rivermen and the what's the other one? I can't even remember the other one.
Dungeoneers.
The Dungeoneers.
Yes. I'm excited to get those images to you. We could set up a talk about them. It's been a while since I've dug back into some of those things. I created all that a year ago or more. So, let's talk about the Rivermen and the Dungeoneers, their arch enemy.
Right. Also, moving forward, we do have. I have had a Patreon account set up for over a year. We haven't advertised it, but if anybody wants to make a small donation to Jason and I, you can jump onto my Patreon. The link should be in my beacons at the in the description of the video, and that will help us continue on the progression and the finishing details of creating these little mini shows, because they do take time to put together, and anything helps. Also, Jordan is going to be a guest coming up in a few weeks, and that is AK Brickster on Instagram, and we're going to build a little mini photo gallery of his work, and we're going to dive in with him as a guest on his work. So that'll be fun, similar to what we've done with Jason's stuff. So that'll be fun as well. Also, in the lineup for December, I'm going to jump into Minecraft Lego, because I'm a huge Minecraft fan.
Oh yeah, my son has quite a few sets of Minecraft, and I played the game before it was cool.
I played the game before it was cool. I played it during it was cool, and I played it after it was cool.
We actually played it yesterday, me and my son.
Yeah, I mean, I it's about that season. I get into Minecraft and spend 20 to 30 hours a week through the winter.
Yeah, hibernate
I hibernate in Minecraft in the winter. It's kind of weird, but I do it every year.
It's fun. It's a fun game to get lost in.
Yeah, it is. It is great, and the fact that I fell in love with that game in beta in 2010.
I was playing it right when it showed up. Yeah.
Yeah. I fell in love with it then. And then lo and behold, 2 or 3 years after that, I jumped back out of my dark ages, and, I'm back into Lego. And then Lego's like, hey, what do you think about this whole Minecraft theme?
Yep.
I'm like, I'll take all of it.
Yeah.
I'm bored.
That's awesome.
Minecraft is one of the themes that I do collect quite a bit of. Awesome. I have a lot of them. A lot of them are still in the box. A lot of them haven't been opened, but I do have them. So that's pretty exciting.
I'd be down to talk about Minecraft for sure.
Yeah, I would be too, man. Very exciting stuff.
Awesome. All right. Well,
yeah. So
I guess
that's about it. We got just a few more comments here, really quick. Let me run through them real fast here, so we don't have anybody left out. Crusader. Yeah. He is indeed super excited to talk about your stuff. I knew he would be.
I appreciate it, man.
I added the 9-volt monitor to the Disney train, Steve says.
Beautiful.
Monitor. I'm looking at a monitor. The 9-volt motor to the Disney train. That's cool. You know what, Steve? I didn't get the Disney train. They sold out of it. They took it off. They retired it. Yeah. I didn't get it. I don't know what I'm going to have to pay for it now. I'm super disappointed because I really needed the Disney train to go in a circle on repeat around the Disney castle.
Yep. Also, screw the new Harry Potter train. It doesn't fit on the tracks. Throw it away. Oh, wait, you liked it.
It's a display piece, man. It's a display piece.
It is quite impressive, but it bugs me a little bit.
Well, I mean, hey, what are you gonna do about this 5 times VIP coming up?
I don't know. I didn't even hear about it.
The Lego Harry Potter train is one of the sets on the list that if you buy it, you get 5 times VIP points.
Because they're not selling.
Well, that's a good time to buy it then, isn't it?
That's a fair point.
Yeah, Doreen says awesome topic. Yes, sir. And Nathaniel says good night.
Good night, my friend.
Yeah. Everybody, thanks for joining in. Good video. Good topic. Looking forward to diving into Jason's castle stuff again this next week.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, so I'm super pumped to talk about that. And also the AK Brickster. His castle stuff is going to be right around the bend as well. So that's super fun.
That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So
stay tuned.
Yeah. Also, let's see. This weekend, Lady Bricks and me are going to Brickfest Nashville.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll be in Nashville Saturday morning at the Brickfest show. So I might jump on and do like an Insta Live or something like that, just brief. I might take some pictures and put them up on Instagram while I'm there.
Cool.
But who knows? It should be fun.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. So take a look. Yeah. If you're there, say hi. Right.
Yeah. If you come by and say hello, if you're in Middle Tennessee.
Steve is with me. He doesn't buy a display set. He ended up adding the Disney train to his layout. I love it.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's see. I wanted to say also thank you everyone for watching and all the great participation, all the super great information that got fed to us as we were doing this live. That's phenomenal. That's exactly what we're here to do.
Yeah, it's actually good. It's actually good to have people come in and talk with us because, like you said, we're not train guys. But we love Lego, and we'll talk about anything that's Lego. But bringing everyone in and bringing their knowledge in, it just kind of helps everybody in watching the video understand it even deeper, which is good.
Having that community engagement is phenomenal. And we actually talk. Andrew and I talk behind the scenes and want to make sure that we want to bring you guys in as much as possible. And that's what we're here to do. So I loved that. And getting to hear all of the things from you guys.
It's always good to get everybody's feedback and everybody's little pieces of knowledge that they could have found when they opened up the box in 1992 or
exactly.
It's always fun. So cool. I guess that's it.
Yeah, stay tuned for all of those things, those announcements that Andrew just dropped on you. That's gonna be exciting. I love all of that stuff. And yeah, we'll keep you updated, keep you posted, let you know when the next one hits. Should be next Monday. We'll be talking about Rivermen and Dungeoneers.
Yeah. Until then, happy building.
Have a good one, Andrew.
See ya.
See you later, guys.